Hello, everyone. Welcome to another live. I'm Cassandra, and today we're going to be talking about your healthy relationship can be compromised. Okay, so make sure you check out the link for the slide presentation I'm going to be sharing with you all today. And please let me know if you can see and or hear everything on the screen. All right, now you guys may hear some noise in the background. You may hear some banging going on in the background. One of my neighbors is getting some work done on their house, so excuse that. I mean, it's not so bad, but you guys may be able to hear it. But again, let me know if you can hear and see everything, okay? All right, so, okay. Just going to give it a few more minutes. And while I'm waiting, I'm actually going to get me something to snack on and drink, so I will be right back. All right. Let's go ahead and get started here. I want to welcome everyone to the live stream. Now, I'm going to be talking about how the healthy relationship can be compromised. If you have a healthy relationship, if you can potentially have a healthy relationship. Those of you who may know someone in your life who may have narcissistic traits that are maligning, sometimes they can sabotage some of your positive relationships. This may be intentionally, sometimes it's not intentional. However, whenever you see signs of narcissistic traits within a relationship, it can actually ruin or it can compromise your healthy relationships. All right, so again, go ahead and look in the chat for the link to this slide presentation. And of course, it's going to be available once this video goes up later. All right, certainly hope everybody is doing okay today. I know here on the East Coast, it's been very hot. And I've just been trying to stay cool and stay out of a lot of the heat, but it's kind of hard, especially when you have things to do and you have to be out there. All right, just let me go ahead and check something real quick before I really get into this. All right, let's see. All right, okay. All right, let's go. All right, I'll be discussing the backhanded silent treatment, the value of learning how and when to detach. Then I'll be going over critical questions and tools. Okay, so the backhanded silent treatment, what is that exactly? Well, it's when the narcissist moves to alienate a person, right? So when the narcissist is not having a good time of it, things are not going their way, they often will move to try and alienate a person. And then that person, they may start to feel lonely. And then they may end up isolating themselves. So it's kind of like the narcissist starts, but then the person finishes what the narcissist starts, if that makes sense. So, due to all the emotions and things that you may be going through in the relationship, loneliness may set in. A person, they may start to feel that it's not possible to have healthy relationships, or they don't have enough healthy relationships. Okay, right? So then there's the smear campaigns, and there's the gaslight techniques. And then sometimes narcissists, when things don't go their way, they may recruit flying monkeys, or they may recruit enablers and others around him or her to play the dysfunctional role of a flying monkey, to help them hoover those that they may be targeting back in. Because, narcissists, sometimes they don't take no for an answer. So there may be times that they may pull a shenanigan, such as a backhanded silent treatment. And pretty much what the backhanded silent treatment is when the narcissist moves to attempt to alienate a person. Then that person may respond with isolating his or herself, because they may start to blame themselves for all of the shenanigans that narcissists may pull. They may start to blame themselves for all the pain in the relationship. Okay, so smear campaigning, right? Smear campaigning can leave people with a bad feeling. So, there may be some people on the outside looking in, and they really don't know what's going on. They may not know that your narcissist is a narcissist. They may not see those traits right away. So they just simply are observing what's going on, and they don't like how it feels, right? They get that bad feeling, yet they don't know the story behind the story. And it's not necessarily that they have to, but if you have a good relationship with this person, it can be compromised, because the narcissist may be putting some things into play to influence that to happen. They may be sabotaging your chances of having a great relationship with someone else. They may be, especially if this is a covert narcissist, they may be putting some things into play that may put the doubts in the other person's mind, or in other people's mind, about the relationship with you. A covert narcissist, does this a lot. They pull this type of shenanigan in order to manipulate and control the environment. Okay, so I'm going to get into telekinesis because that's where that comes in. They may try to pull a telekinesis. That means they may attempt to alter your sense of reality and or time. And this goes for anyone else who may be involved. It could be a third party situation. It could be a situation where maybe you do have a positive relationship with other people, but they just don't know exactly what's going on with the narcissist. They may not know that you are actually experiencing, narcissistic relationships. Okay, this person, they may have narcissistic traits. So when the narcissist moves to smear campaigning, this can leave people with a bad feeling. Some people, such as a flying monkey, may already have an issue with you. Therefore, it may not be very hard for them to start believing the lies that the narcissist is spewing or telling. So when they start to smear campaign, well, some people may go ahead and go along with with what the narcissist is saying. But again, all of this goes right back to how a person may feel alienated. Then they may move right into isolating themselves because they may feel so much pain. They may be holding everything in. They may be blaming themselves for things that are going on in the relationship, which is not even their fault. But, the toxicity is often sensed by others. So when people are on the outside looking in, this is including family members who may be cousins, aunts, uncles, grandparents. They may not be in the household with you if this is a family situation, right? Even at work, they may not be working where you work at, right? They may be working what I meant to say, they may be working within another department. They may be working in the same corporation, but they may be working in another department. So they may not really understand and understand what you're experiencing. But they're on the outside looking in, right? So this type of toxicity is often sensed by others, and this may not, they may not even know the whole story behind the story, but they don't like how the crazy making makes them feel. You may not even like how the crazy making of a narcissist makes you feel, but you're experiencing this. So when a narcissist attempts to pull a telekinesis, when they attempt to alter your sense of time and reality, this is how the Twilight Zone effect can happen. It's it's surreal, right? It's very surreal. And other people around you may not understand and understand exactly what you're going through. Unfortunately, some people have been in this type of situation for so long that they may experience mental challenges. They're not mentally ill. They experience mental challenges. Okay? And again, this is the result of being exposed to having a unhealthy relationship with those who may have a narcissistic trait or two. Okay, that is very maligning. They set out to sabotage and perhaps even ruin anything good that may be going on with other people around him or her. So the narcissist tends to not be a happy camper. So when they're not, what do they say? Misery loves company. But remember this, the narcissist doesn't need you for the misery. They desire you to share the misery. Let me repeat that. Narcissists and some cluster B personality types, I'll just rephrase what I just said, right? Narcissists and some cluster B personality types, they don't need you, okay? They don't need you to share their misery. They want you to share their misery. They desire you to share their misery. And I hope that's huge for somebody. I hope that's a huge revelation for somebody. That's one of the things that helped me out along the way. Okay? They didn't need me. They wanted me to share their misery. So I stopped taking the blame. Okay? I stopped taking that big L for them. But when a narcissist starts to smear campaign, it often leaves a very heavy energy for other people to feel. And of course, the narcissist is often oblivious to this. Sometimes they are aware of it, but that's how they get off, okay? Sometimes they're very aware of how they affect other people. or infect other people by spewing the smear campaigns, gossiping, rumors, instigating arguments and conflicts, drama, only to experience karma later. Okay? So another thing I want to also let you all know is that when a narcissist sets out to deceive, they're setting themselves up to be deceived. You may not be the person that deceives them. So when they pull those shenanigans, right? Well, this can cause all positive relationships to be compromised. So what do they say? What you put out, you get back. So the narcissist is actually sabotaging others to be sabotaged. So they deceive to be deceived. They pull shenanigans to have others only to come in their life and pull shenanigans. Okay? So when the backhanded silent treatment happens, it is often because the narcissist feels some sort of threat, or actually a perceived threat, that is not even reflective of reality. Their false self-image is challenged. They have several false self-images, from that of a martyr to a saint to a victim who can't seem to catch a break. So the narcissist, they may begin to pull the shenanigan of silent treatment when things are not going their way, when they want to control, when they wish to perhaps regain control. So when a narcissist pulls a telekinesis, this is their attempt to alter other people's sense of time and or reality, which can leave a person feeling the parallel reality, the Twilight Zone effect, the experience, the overall experience of having a narcissistic relationship can seem surreal. Some people around him or her may not understand and understand what they're going through. This can cause a person to perhaps not only feel alienated, but they may move into isolating themselves. See, the narcissist sets the grounds, okay? They plant the seeds, or they set up the stage for the alienation. That is the backhanded silent treatment. When they don't get their way, they want to shut people down. They want to perhaps punish the person. So they move to try to alienate the person, or have the person feel some sense of alienation. And then the person moves on to isolating themselves. And for the narcissist, that is the gift that keeps giving. Narcissists often will try to isolate individuals. Okay? So the gaslighting technique, sometimes they may perform what's called a neuro-linguistic program. Okay? That's just another way of saying they will mess with the mind. They will play mind tricks. So that person, once they start to alienate themselves, once they start to isolate themselves, they may start to question their own sanity and or reality. This is a natural response to an unnatural phenomena called narcissistic relationship. Narcissistic codependent relationship, because every narcissistic relationship has subtle signs of codependency. So the narcissist may recruit flying monkeys in order to hoover that person back in, should they start to show signs of outgrowing the relationship with him or her. So the narcissist may become threatened and afraid that they're losing control, therefore losing supply. So they may recruit other individuals to play the role of a flying monkey. Okay? Very often are narcissists individuals who are enablers to narcissists. That group is the first group that the narcissist often will go to recruit, to play the role or fulfill the role of a flying monkey, in order to what? Hoover those that they target for source supply back in, should they show signs of outgrowing the relationship, or if they have already moved forward, if they have already ended the relationship. And sometimes narcissists they look for signs of people who want the last word, or they have an ego issue. Narcissists, of course, they have an ego issue. But narcissists, sometimes they will goat people into arguments and sit back and watch for signs of the person having an ego issue. In other words, they got to have the last word. And I'm laughing because a lot of us have been in that boat, right? We want the last word. We want the final say when there's an argument. The narcissist looks for that because they sense, okay, well, if I can push this person's button and they got to have the last word, and they had, they have that ego issue, well, I'm going to beat them to the punch, therefore leaving a sense of unfinished business. See, if the narcissist beats somebody to the punch and they leave the relationship and they go on to new supply, they may plan to recycle that relationship later. They may plan to recruit a flying monkey or several flying monkeys to hoover that person back in that they have just left picking up the pieces so they can go on to new supply, simulating that they have actually moved on when they haven't. This is an illusion. Narcissists often don't get over exes. They don't move on. However, they're very good at making it look like they've moved on, when simply they have moved on to new supply. Sometimes they will attempt to hoover an ex back in. Now, this does not have to be a romantic situation necessary. This can be a family situation. This can be a friendship. Okay? So when narcissists move to recruit flying monkeys, usually enablers are their first go-to. All right? Okay, so let's move on. Ooh, my mouse is stuck. Come on, mouse. All right. Okay. The value of learning how and when to detach. Okay, so finding the good in a goodbye is key. Why unfinished business of narcissistic relationships are an illusion. I went over that just a little bit, okay? I'll get a little bit deeper into that. How a relationship with a narcissist compromises positive relationships. Okay, so that's pretty much what this whole live stream is about. How a relationship with a narcissist can compromise your other positive or healthy relationships. Because again, the narcissists often, they're going for the narcissistic supply, and therefore when they start to lose control, they equate that with losing supply. And narcissists often don't like to do that. Okay, so, the good and a goodbye, right? Okay. So when you get to the point where you realize, okay, I have outgrown this relationship, the narcissist, of course, is not going to like that if you have actually outgrown the relationship. So they may sense this, and they may move to try to sabotage any positive thing that you have going, including positive relationships. They may try to dismantle that in order to get you to possibly isolate. See, again, this is the backhanded silent treatment, which is alienation. So they often a narcissist, in order to regain control, they may try to influence those that they target for source supply to do what? Isolate themselves. Lack the confidence to maintain any positive relationships that they have, or to obtain new positive relationships that they could have. So finding the good in the goodbye is key, because once a person takes off the rose-colored glasses and they realize that this relationship lacks resolution, it lacks, any resolve, right? The narcissist is doing everything to dismantle any type of positive livelihood that the person can have. When a person realizes this, well, then there's really no turning back. So they may find the good in the goodbye. The good in the goodbye also means that everyone involved, they're probably in one way or another is going to benefit. This does not mean that people who have moved to hurt them right? It's going to be rewarded with good. Not necessarily, no. Finding the good in the goodbye is key because this releases the person. This is another way of releasing heavy energy that doesn't serve him or her. This helps to keep the person focused on thriving forward. This releases them. This gives them, they're giving themselves permission to move forward. The relationship is not going anywhere. It's just, it's like almost like a karmic cycle. It's just a lot of things that are painful just keep repeating, regardless of the efforts that are being made, perhaps by you, to bring about peace, harmony, balance. But the narcissist is not going to cooperate because it doesn't get them what? The supply. So finding the good in the goodbye is key. And before I get further into the value of learning how and when to detach, I just want to mention something else about the backhanded silent treatment. See, sometimes it's not about the why. Very often when you're talking about the narcissist, it's about the how. How did they obtain source supply from you? How do they obtain source supply from others? How is it that sometimes they can seem to win when they are treating people so rotten? See, it's not really about the why, because when you ask the narcissist, well, why did you do A, B, and C, or why did you treat me such and such? Well, that gives them more leverage. That gives them more opportunities to come up with other shenanigans to pull. Because at that time, they may figure that you're showing signs of counting on him or her, or depending on him or her for something, right? Such as the closure or the validation, or you may want them to apologize. But the narcissist, sometimes they sense this, and that's not what's going to happen. It's almost as if they know exactly what it will take to bring about peace and harmony in a relationship, and they will intentionally withhold those things. Why? Because it goes right back to the control. Narcissists often equate the source supply with control, and vice versa. It goes right back to the source supply. At the end of the day, the narcissist's main aim is source supply. Their main objective is to obtain and or maintain source supply. So sometimes it's not about, the why, it's about the how. How did they manage to influence you to perhaps end positive relationships that you had? And they walk away looking like they didn't have anything to do with your ending those positive relationships, or perhaps the other person ending the positive relationship with you because they felt uncomfortable about the crazy making of the narcissist. Yet they didn't have the backstory. They didn't really know what was going on. All they knew is just it didn't feel good. They weren't certain about what was going on at all, right? And of course, you didn't know how to tell him or her. Perhaps you've had experiences of trying to tell somebody, right? And it just didn't work out. People tended not to believe you, or to believe that such a thing was happening. See, I've often heard it said that unless a person has already gone through a narcissistic relationship, they just ain't gonna get it, right? Yeah, and I second that, okay? So I can speak from experience on that one. Some people just, and that doesn't make them a bad person. It doesn't make them bad people. But again, you have to be cognizant of how they're on the outside looking in. So very often a narcissist knows this too. They're playing it for what it's worth. They're milking it for what it's worth. Okay, so just wanted to touch on that because when the narcissist attempts to pull a telekinesis, again, they are attempting to alter the sense of time and reality of everyone around him or her. This does not mean that they're greater than everyone and that they're just this awesome big Oz of a person that's invincible and untouchable. That's not what I'm suggesting at all. I'm not even, that's not my intention to put that message out there. What I'm simply pointing out is that how narcissists are so delusional, okay? They often believe their own lies until they get caught up in them. They often deceive only to be deceived. Remember that. Whatever the narcissist puts out, in other words, is going to have to return to sender. It's impossible that it has to, right? It has to do that. So they will betray only to be betrayed. They will manipulate only to be manipulated. They will smear a campaign only to have someone say something about them that may not be true. But see, sometimes narcissists are like those who cry wolf. It's like the little boy who cried wolf when they were really in trouble and no one came to help them. Sometimes that is the karmic. Okay, sometimes that is the karma of a narcissist who pulls shenanigans for sport, sometimes for clout, right? So, the only way that this type of gaslighting works, when they pull a telekinesis, is when other people buy into the perspective or the interpretation of the narcissist's reality, not the reality. Narcissists don't do reality. They are only interested in their reality. Just like they don't care about the truth, they only care about their truth, right? So when a narcissist attempts to pull a telekinesis, the only way it's going to work is when other people buy into it. They have to buy or believe the narcissist's interpretation or perspective of the narcissist's reality, not reality. Because the narcissist's perspective of their reality does not match. Okay? It doesn't match reality. So when people get emotionally, spiritually, or energetically caught up in the web of a narcissist, their world, right? Then this is often why the backhanded silent treatment can work. This is how the narcissist can pull that shenanigan of alienating a person, right? They're alienated. Therefore, then they will move into perhaps isolating themselves because they may feel the shame. They may feel the pain, the hurt. They may feel like, other people just don't get what they're going through. And of course, this is playing into the hands of or this is how the narcissist likes it, right? So I just wanted to point that out. All right, the other people, you and others, they have to buy into the perspective or the perception of the narcissist's interpretation of their reality. Once they knock you off your square, right? Then perhaps you will miss the point of their pulling the shenanigan. See, again, it's not about why. It's about how. How did they go about pulling the shenanigan? This is not about trying to dissect the mind of a narcissist. I want to really make that clear. That's not what this is about. This is about becoming a little bit more educated about what you have experienced. Therefore, perhaps, you can express what you have experienced. The narcissist likes it when you're in your feelings, which is totally opposite, or having nothing to do with your expressing your emotions, expressing what you have experienced. See, the narcissist likes it when you're in your feelings because that means they're in control. You're in your feelings, they're in control. How does that work? See, it doesn't work. Doesn't work very well for you, right? The narcissists, they're still pulling shenanigans. So when they knock people off their square, this is very easy to miss the point. It's very easy to miss that point of why they pull a shenanigan, of how they pull a shenanigan. The story behind the story. And don't always have to know the story behind the story of a narcissist. It's not about trying to dissect their mind, the diabolical mind of a narcissist, 101. No, it's about knowing how you got in the sunken place. Because once you know how you got in, you'll know how to get out. It doesn't have anything to do with the narcissist at that point. This is often why when they go sniffing back around trying to woo certain people back in, right? They often go back where? To the sunken place. They don't look for those that they have targeted before out in life, living their best life. That's the last place the narcissist is going to look. See, the narcissist likes to go out there and play and obtain all the supply that they can. But when they're ready to target someone and hoover them back in, they're not going to look for them living their best life. They're going to look for them to be in the sunken place, perhaps where they left them, picking up the pieces, or figuratively speaking, leaving them for dead. Okay? So just be cognizant of that. I know a lot of you already are, but I just want to reiterate that, because some people, see, it's very easy to forget that part, especially when the pain hits, the pain of the narcissistic codependent relationship, which runs very deep. Okay, so it's very easy to miss that. But narcissists often like it when a person is in their feelings, because that means they remain in control. They can push buttons. When a narcissist knocks that person off their square, the person may miss the point, okay, of how the narcissist is pulling shenanigans. When a person is in their feelings, okay, I can raise my hand to that too, because I think we've all been there. Sometimes, we get into our feelings, we're on our ego tip, right? Not critically thinking about what's going on. Not saying that you always got to be in your head. No. That's not a good idea either. But it's about balancing, right? Balancing what you think, what you feel. Balancing what you think with your emotions, right? When you are aware of your emotions, which is your energy in motion, you're aware of your emotions, yet you are able to give a cohesive narrative of what you went through or what you're experiencing. The narcissist will not be able to know what hit him or her. They'll be knocked off of their square, because they're going to be looking at you like, who are you? Right? You're not the person that, they may think and say, well, you're not the person that I can easily get somebody from. Who are you? Right? So you're demonstrating your growth at that time. You take off the rose-colored glasses, you become aware that you have outgrown that relationship, and then you are a person who is demonstrating his or her growth, which is the best revenge against a narcissist. That's what I say. That's the best revenge. People come up, with all kinds of things, which I respect their view, okay, their experiences. I respect that. But one of my personal experience has taught me one of the best revenges, okay, to get or to have against a narcissist is when you demonstrate your growth. You're simply showing you have outgrown the narcissistic codependent relationship. Narcissists, sometimes they tend to not get over how people have grown past him or her. Forget about trying to get over them. Start growing past him or her. Okay? You're demonstrating your growth. That's the best revenge. But why the unfinished business of a narcissistic relationship is an illusion is because once the narcissist has decided to pull shenanigans and perhaps have left you in the sunken place, and this does not have to be a romantic situation only. This is family, friends, whatever. If you have ever dealt with a narcissist, what I'm about to say is especially for you, right? Okay, why the unfinished business of a narcissistic relationship is an illusion is because when the narcissist moves to leave you in a sunken place, it is finished business. It is over. It is game over at that moment. That's it. They have moved. See, they have made the choice. They have, they made an action. They made a move. They proactively ended the relationship. They may have burned a bridge. They may have smear campaign, the back-ended silent treatment. They may have delivered the silent treatment, right? They may have pulled all types of shenanigans to make it look like they're done with you altogether. They don't want to have no more to do with you after they have already caused you some grievances, right? Once a narcissist does that, here's the announcement. That is when the business is finished. It's game over. It's done. See, we can't repeat we could repeat the past if we try, right? But the past is the past. Can't change what has happened, right? Well, start today. You can start to control what you do, right? The narcissist has nothing to do with that anymore. But see, the narcissist, once they move to alienate a person, or what I call the backhanded silent treatment, once they move to doing that, pulling that shenanigan, yes, it is game over. The business of the narcissistic codependent relationship has ended. It's kaput. It's gone. But see, when the narcissist goes to gaslighting an individual, they're hoping that that individual teeter-totters between what they think and what they feel, such as not being able to get over the narcissist when maybe they should, well, I'm going to strike the word should. Maybe it would behoove them to be cognizant of learning how to grow past the narcissistic relationship. So forget trying to get over them, grow past. Don't get over, grow past. That way you'll level up, evolve, thrive forward. Once a person demonstrates their growth, they're not teeter-tottering, see, between, should I give the narcissist another chance? Should I speak to them again? Should I hear them out? No, they're not teeter-tottering again, between that. That's not happening. Once a person realizes they have outgrown that dynamic, that interchange, that phenomena, whereas it's just seemingly a cycle of, what do they call it, the narcissistic cycle, they're ready to get off of that mad merry-go-round. Once they realize, hey, you know what, I don't have to really go through this. Even in cases of co-parenting with a narcissist, even in cases of a family member, no, they don't. Once they realize, oh, you know what, I don't have to go through this. I don't have to continue this way. They can make the choices. Once a person challenges themselves, once they challenge themselves to make the choices that bring about necessary change in their life, that is powerful. That is very powerful. The narcissist will not be able to hoover the person back in. How? They have nothing to hoover the person back in with. The person has gained clarity. Hey, they may say, well, I've been through this, I've been through that, and this is what I experienced. And they can perhaps give a cohesive narrative. They can even write a book about what they've gone through, what have you. They're not denying what they've gone through. They feel it. They don't have, it's not like they don't have those moments of having to punch some pillows and cry and perhaps go to their therapist or counselor and do role play. All the things they wanted to say to the narcissist, they say it to the counselor. They may do angry letters. They may journal. They may take a tape recorder and speak on it. They may choose something very positive or constructive to express what they have experienced instead of trying to hold it inside. See, the narcissist wants some people to hold that inside. So that way, there is a sense of unfinished business. When the narcissist moves to leave a person in a sunken place, it is often that shock and awe effect. The narcissist is in awe that they were able to pull that off, and you're left shocked that they actually did it, because you're left picking up the pieces as they may move on to new supply, or they may seemingly move on. Okay? This is how they play with the mind. And sometimes this is also how they alienate the person, the backhanded silent treatment. They're shedding, they call themselves, the narcissists may call themselves shutting down the person because they didn't get their way, or they may be tired of the relationship. They may be bored. They want new supply. Okay, they want more supply. So once the person that they may have targeted before, and now they've left them in the sunken place, if they're teeter-tottering, okay, they're going in between what they should do and what they feel, and sometimes they numb out. See, that's exactly what the narcissist wants. That plays right into their hands. Because that invokes a sense of unfinished business. It is very easy for people to forget that once the narcissist moves to, leaving a person in a sunken place, it is over. It's game over. That could be due to a betrayal. That can be due to abandonment. If this is a family situation, parents and or grandparents, okay? Because a person cannot be abandoned, as an adult. They can be betrayed by another adult, but they cannot be abandoned by another adult unless that person, their situation is that they are being taken care of by the other adult because they're not able to function in the world to take care of themselves. But children are abandoned. Okay, so this is why I mention it that way. So if the narcissist has moved to keep a person or to leave a person in a sunken place, see, they can't keep the person in a sunken place. That's their person's choice. When the narcissist moves to move on, right, or seemingly move on, or simulating that they're moving on, or pretending that they're moving on, when they only have, they have these plans to go hoover the person back in, right? So a person might be left discombobulated. They may be experiencing all kinds of mixed feelings. They may be reeling from this reality. It may be hard for them to process this reality. If that person is still in the sunken place, sometimes it is because they have not totally processed the reality of having the narcissistic relationship. Okay, so, this is just something that a lot of us have experienced. A lot of people have experienced this, right? So when a narcissist moves to do that, then the other person may have a sense of, okay, it's unfinished business, not realizing that when the narcissist moved to do that, they did squash the relationship. They burned the bridge. Therefore, the business is finished. It went belly up at that moment. And the other person, because they're emotional or they're on their ego tip, they just don't want to face reality, or they haven't taken off the rose-colored glasses, or they haven't processed the reality of having a narcissistic codependent relationship. All these things can go into play. So what does that do? That gives the narcissist the leeway or the path that can go right back to the person re-entering their life or being able to hoover them back in. I hope this is making sense, because a lot of us have gone, I know I've gone through this, being hoovered back in. See, people, once they get hoovered back in, sometimes that's what it takes for them to wake up. Now, I'm not saying that this has to happen to everybody. But once a person realizes, they take off the rose-colored glasses and they don't sugarcoat the reality, they don't idealize the narcissist or the situation, then the narcissist has absolutely nothing to hoover them back in with. How are they going to hoover them back in? They can't. And this is not about, some people, they will still have memories. Some people will still have to write the angry letters. They may have to go to counseling. They may have to work and process it. It may take a while. That's okay. That's okay. It really is. And the narcissist will not have anything to hoover the person back in with. They are demonstrating their growth. They are thriving forward. They are doing what they need to do in order to continue to what? Have a good life. Level up. Expand, live, laugh, learn, love, okay? Making it possible to have possible relationships, which is something that the narcissist loves to dismantle. They like to sabotage any chances. Anything that the person has going good, the narcissist will try to dismantle. That includes, that's including a support base. Again, some people are on the outside looking in, so they don't really know what's really going on. Right? But I just, I just want to mention that, because once the narcissists start to pull telekinesis, some people, they realize this later on down the road, but some people never realize it. And sometimes it's the flying monkeys who never realize this, because what? They're trying to please the narcissist. Some who have been recruited by the narcissist to fulfill the role of a flying monkey. Unfortunately, again, this is a dysfunctional role that can only backfire. It can only cause issues down the road. But some of those who are fulfilling the role of flying monkey, sometimes they do wake up and they realize what the narcissist, the shenanigans they have been up to. And some of them never realize it, because sometimes, narcissists and flying monkeys are like first cousins, not twins. Reason being is because those who have been recruited to perform as a flying monkey to try to hoover you back in, or someone else, right? They have hidden agendas of getting you hoovered back in that are not necessarily the same. So they're not twins. They're first cousins. Because even though the hidden agenda is not similar, their vices often are identical. In other words, the flying monkey can act like the narcissist. They are actually, again, identical in their behavior sometimes. They're like bosom buddies. So flying monkeys and narcissists, sometimes they are like first cousins, not twins. Because of the agendas of getting you hoovered back in versus why they want you hoovered back in and how they attempt to hoover you back in. Sometimes it's about the how, not the why. Why would the flying monkey want you hoovered back in? How do they attempt to hoover you back in? What are their methods? What are the shenanigans that they're pulling? Very often it is quite similar, if not identical, to the narcissist. Remember, the narcissists, they have to recruit the flying monkey. The flying monkeys work for the narcissist. Sometimes it's hard to tell the mask from another mask. The mask of a flying monkey and the mask of a narcissist sometimes is identical. So they're not necessarily twins. They can be like first cousins because the vices that they use can be the same, yet their agendas to get you hoovered back in can be quite different. Or they can be similar. Okay, so, this is why unfinished business of a narcissistic relationship is an illusion. It's not, why are you trying to finish the business? The narcissist more than likely threw the first punch because they're not interested in having a positive relationship in the first place. They are often against having healthy relationships. So there you go. And this is from family to friends to colleagues to coworkers to, I'm not suggesting to be suspicious of everyone. No, please live your life to the full. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. That's the narcissist cup of tea. But this is why the unfinished business of narcissistic relationships are an illusion, because you didn't throw the first punch. They threw the first punch. They did not want the positive, healthy relationship with you in the first place. But when they see that you do have positive, healthy relationships with others, what do? The backhanded silent treatment. They move to try to alienate you. They move to try to dismantle those relationships. So narcissistic relationships can actually compromise your healthy relationships. Okay, so when we start to value learning how and when to detach without disassociating, is very powerful. So let me break that down for a minute. Okay, so when a person learns how and when to detach, I've already gone through that. So by now you should know a little bit more about how to detach and when. Okay, when do you detach? When is it time to detach? Well, when they start pulling these types of shenanigans and, you're starting to feel pretty badly about it. It's that inner voice inside of you telling you a change has to come, okay? A change has to happen. Very often, you will find that you are the catalyst to a much needed change, not only in your life, but in the lives of others. A positive change, right? A necessary change. See, a narcissist may be irritated by that. They may be frustrated by that. But see, that is none of your business. The pain of a narcissist, the displeasure of a narcissist is none of your business. Don't make it your business. But they want you to make it they want you to make it your business. They want you to make their unhappiness your business. Just think about how that works. Misery loves company. The narcissist doesn't need you. They do not need you to share their misery. They want you to share the misery. That's like you don't need them to obtain the closure. You want them to help you gain the closure. That was one of my revelations years ago. Didn't need the person to gain the closure. What's that saying? Dorothy, you had it, you were at home the whole time or something like that. I may have messed that up from the movie Wizard of Oz. Dorothy, you had it all the time, or Dorothy, you could have went home the whole time, something like that. Anyway, y'all get it. But yeah, this is often why they want you to have that sense of unfinished business. They were the ones that started it, yet they want you to feel like it is on you to finish it. You're the one that has to, what? Finish it. You have to be the peacemaker. It's on you, it's on you, it's on you. You have to forgive. You have to understand. You have to support. You have to nourish. See, it goes back to you. That is why the unfinished business of narcissistic relationships are illusions. Okay, so you know when to detach. When you see all these things happening, you feel messed up. You feel like you can't really get ahead in life because emotionally and perhaps even spiritually, if not psychologically and mentally, you're being bogged down by this. Energy is supposed to move. Emotions are your energy in motion. Your energy is supposed to move, but when you're in the sunken place, it's stagnated. It's stuck. It's stagnant. Pardon me. Okay, so the value of learning how, okay, and when to detach. How do you detach? I just mentioned just one. Take off the rose-colored, actually I mentioned several, but take off the rose-colored glasses. Don't sugarcoat. Don't idealize the narcissist. That's what they want you to do. That's why they wear all those masks. They want you to think that they're a victim. That's one mask. What's another mask that a narcissist has? They want you to look upon them as if they can do no wrong. They're a martyr. They're a saint. That's a third mask that they have. Every mask is assigned to their false image. Okay? Every mask is assigned. They have assignments or attachments. So when a narcissist wants you to look upon them and idealize them as if they can't do any wrong, like they are greater than you, then that plays into their hands. That's when enmeshment can start. You don't know where you end and they begin, or vice versa. A person can have an identity crisis being involved with a narcissist. When they have an identity crisis, how can they express who they are to other people who may want to have a positive relationship with him or her? See, it's very, it's a pickle, as they say. It's a dilemma. It's a problem. So narcissistic codependent relationships can absolutely compromise healthy, positive relationships, even the potential ones. So how do you detach? Take off the rose-colored glasses. I'll get into that a little bit more when I get to the tools. But when you detach, okay, or how you detach is very key. How do you detach? Emotionally, okay, spiritually, sometimes even physically. Everybody cannot physically just pack up and go. That is something only you can determine. No one on this planet. This is another thing. Some people, this news flash right here, this announcement, ladies and gentlemen. See, a lot of you already know this. And this is not intending to trigger anyone. But I think a lot of you already know this. And that is, no one on the planet can tell you exactly how to deal with the narcissist. Your situation differs, okay? It varies from person to person, in other words. No one can tell you at the end of the day how to stop having this relationship. It is very personal. It's a very intimate, personal thing, just like forgiving. Forgiveness is a very intimate and personal thing. So when contemplating forgiveness, make sure that it is only, that you're causing it, that it's only about you and no one else. Not even the narcissist. You're forgiving him or her or anyone else has nothing to do with anyone else but you. Contemplating forgiveness is very intimate and personal. It's a choice only you can make. So when it comes down to narcissistic codependent relationships, it is a choice only you can make on how to maneuver, how to move, plan the planning, strategize the strategy. But unfinished business with a narcissist, yeah, that's an illusion. The narcissist wants you to believe that there's unfinished business. In their minds, it may be unfinished business, but again, that has nothing to do with you. Okay, so how a relationship with a narcissist compromises positive relationships, we just went over that, right? Yeah, so the value of learning how and when to detach is very powerful. All right. Now, before I get into the critical questions, I want to also mention something else. Actually, no. I think I said I wanted to say. I think I've said all I wanted to say about the other slides. Okay, so critical questions, right? Okay. Critical question number 1. Have you processed that you've had a narcissistic codependent relationship by figuring out what purpose that relationship serves? See, just like everybody's life, every relationship serves a purpose. And again, this is very intimate. This is very personal. Only you can figure this out and sort this out for yourself. What purpose did that relationship serve? Yes, it was very painful, right? There was some ups and some downs, but what was the purpose of it? Have you figured that out yet? And this doesn't mean, this is not a smart or a dumb answer, right? It's not about that. It's not an intelligence thing. This is about just getting down to the nitty-gritty. Have you figured out what the purpose of that relationship was? For some people, it is that relationship, the purpose of that relationship was so they can find out who the buck they are. Okay? The purpose of that relationship was to remind them why they're here on the planet. That the purpose of that relationship was to clarify certain things, not only about the narcissist, but perhaps themselves. Perhaps not about the narcissist at all, but only about themselves. Hope that makes sense, because some people, sometimes they, when they start to idealize the narcissist, they make it all about the narcissist. See, the narcissist doesn't want to be in the center of your heart. They want to be in the center of your mind, where they can do what? Just like on the Wizard of Oz, have the big Oz behind the curtain. Can pull all those controls. They can push all those buttons. Okay, which leads me to one of the other questions, critical questions that I have here. I'll save that one for last. Okay, so next critical question. Are you able to envision yourself living the life of one who chooses not to invest in narcissistic relationships? Okay, so are you able to envision this? Because sometimes the narcissist can influence a person to question their reality, pulling the telekinesis, gaslighting the person, so they can't envision themselves experiencing or living a life or living their best life without the narcissist. See, some people still want to include the narcissist. They want to include them in the support base. It doesn't work. Sometimes, and I'll jump right back to that first critical question. Sometimes the purpose of having a relationship with a narcissist is to find out you never needed him or her. You only wanted him or her for whatever reason. You never needed them. You wanted them. That's a huge revelation. Third critical question. Is there unfinished business that you believe you currently have with a narcissist? How will you resolve it once and for all? Okay, so let's just say you're convinced that there is unfinished business. There's something else you want to say to the narcissist. You wish they had not pulled the rug out from up underneath you, right? They beat you to the punch. They left the relationship first. So you're feeling some kind of way about it. Maybe that's burning you. Maybe it's an ego thing. See, narcissists, they eat that up. They can smell that a mile away. So if a person is the type of person that becomes reactionary and they got to have the last word, the narcissist is eating it up. They love it because, again, that reflects that the person who is being reactionary is out of control, and the narcissist is reassured that they are in control. because they may think they are, but no, they're in their feelings. They're out of control. The narcissist is in control and they're in their feelings. That don't work. That doesn't work. So let's just say that you feel like, or you think that there is unfinished business with this person, with the narcissist, or maybe several of them, right? Well, how do you intend to resolve it once and for all? Are you thinking of something constructive, I hope, to resolve it all? Does it include them? Because a lot of the time, see, the narcissists, they're not trying to have a positive relationship anyway. So, yeah, how would you resolve that once and for all? Because a lot of people have found out that once it comes to closure, the narcissist is not going to assist them with that. The narcissist is not on board for that because it doesn't supply the narcissist. So they're going to move against that. Again, the backhanded silent treatment. When things don't tend to go their way, that's one of the things they love to do, is the backhanded silent treatment, because people are left sometimes to pick up the pieces, but then they blame themselves for it all. And that's horrible. They're stuck in the sunken place longer because they think it's all their fault what happened. They think that they made the narcissist leave. They think they could have made the narcissist stay. See, it is very unfortunate. So if you are convinced, right? And when I say you, I'm just meaning in general, right? This is for anyone that this resonates with, okay? If you're convinced that there is unfinished business between you and the narcissist, what do you plan to do, or what have you done? Please share. If you have in the comments, or in the chat, share how have you resolved it constructively. If you finished it, if you saying to yourself, okay, I finished it. Yeah, they started it, but I finished it. Okay, some people, they go that route. That's cool. But if you feel like that there's unfinished business, what did you do to constructively resolve it all once and for all? The narcissist, believe it or not, once you do that, that also makes you a person who is Hoover resistant. The narcissist cannot Hoover you back in. Once you have laid to rest certain things, you don't have to have the last word. You don't have to, you're not on your ego tip. You don't have to have the last word. You're too busy living your best life. You're too busy growing. You're too busy laughing, learning, living, loving, leveling up. See, sometimes when you end up on your back, what do they say? You can look up, but you know what I say? Having gone through this myself, when you're on your back, when you're at the bottom, when you're on your back, you're at the bottom, make sure you don't give up. That way you can get up. And the narcissist has to shut up. Feel me? They won't, what they gonna say? You're demonstrating your growth. You're demonstrating that. You're moving on. To make sure you get out the sunken place, first of all, recognize how you got there. Okay? Secondly, don't give up. If you want to get up, don't give up. Therefore, they have to shut up. And the narcissist won't even know what's up, right? Okay? All right. So, the other critical question I want to ask. Okay, what are the I's that you're attempting to dot? What are the T's that you are attempting to cross when it comes to the narcissist? See, the narcissist, they'll push your buttons and they'll cross you, all in the name of obtaining source supply. The narcissists, see, they don't care about other people's well-being. Sometimes they don't care about how they influence other people, right? But celebrate your capacity to love. That's one of the tools. I didn't put it up here, but I want to throw that one in here. Okay? Celebrate your capacity to love, to care, to support. Don't change for the narcissist, right? Don't do that. But think about it. What are the I's that you may be attempting to dot right now when it pertains to the narcissist, when it concerns the narcissist? It goes back to the narcissist. See, this is a vicious cycle. It's highly addictive, therefore habitual. The cycle must be broken, right? So what are the T's that you are still trying to cross? While the narcissist pushes your buttons and crosses you in order to get the source supply. See, again, it's a vicious cycle. The crazy making of a narcissist often leaves a person feeling very, very badly. And the people around, the outsiders looking in, they're going to feel that energy. They're going to sense it. Something, they may pull you to the side. They may ask you some questions, right? But some people, once they get a whiff or they get hit with that energy of the narcissist crazy making, sometimes they just like to walk away. They want no parts. I can't blame them. They don't really know what's going on. But unfortunately for you, if you're the person who is also being mistreated by the narcissist, you see, they're alienating you, and then you move to isolation because perhaps you've lost the confidence to maintain or obtain positive relationships, regardless of what the narcissist is trying to pull. Right? So their crazy making tend to have everybody frazzled and feeling some kind of way and thinking some kind of way. There's your telekinesis again. The narcissist attempting to what? Alter a sense of time in reality. Some people, they continue to stay stuck in the past. There's the altering of the time or sense of time. They stay stuck in the past, in the sunken place, stagnant, energy not flowing, not moving. If you find yourself on your back, make sure don't give up. So you can get up. The narcissist has to shut up at that point. They won't know what's up. See, they're not looking for you to be living your best life, leveling up. Okay? They're going to sniff for you where? In the sunken place. They can't imagine you moving on. They can't. Psychologically, they will have a breakdown trying to see you moving on, living your best life. They can't take that. They've created a false image. They've created that image of you in order to tolerate you long enough. See, when I say you, I mean just in general, okay? This is what narcissists or those who have a narcissistic trait tend to do. They create false images or fake images of other people in order to tolerate them long enough to obtain the source supply. So think about it. Okay? What are the I's that you are still trying to dot? What are the T's that you're still trying to cross? When the reality is the narcissist finished the business once they left you in the sunken place. It was done. It was over. And this is one of the things, this is a secret, okay? Well, it's not a secret anymore. One of the things that the narcissist loves for their targets to do, past, present, even future, right? Anyone that they may try to have in a relationship with them, right? One of the things that they hope that the person never figures out is that once the narcissist pulls shenanigans and they do what they do in order to obtain source supply, that the person won't wake up. See, they don't want the other person to wake up and realize that they were never responsible. They didn't throw the first punch. So what business, why is it on you? Why is it on them? See? That's just like a person who goes to the bank and they may take, money that don't belong to them, right? They may rob the bank. But then they want you to pay for it. The narcissists who may have robbed the bank, they want you to pay for it. They don't want you to figure out that they plotted, they schemed, okay, and they robbed the bank. They were thinking about it for weeks, for months, until they finally did it. And now they want you to pay. See, they want you to finish that karmic cycle. They want you to make everything all right. That's what that is. When you're still trying to cross the T's, when you're still trying to dot the I's, when you never threw the first punch. When they knock you off your square, you missed the point. That is the point. How are they pulling shenanigans? Yeah, that's it. There was nothing to figure out. There was nothing to figure out. So, what T's are you still trying to cross while they're crossing you? See, the narcissist will cross you and you're trying to cross the T's. Unfinished business. According to who? Right? You're still trying to dot the I's. And they're pushing your buttons, right? They're dot. They're pushing your buttons every which way. All for what? The source supply. You're still trying to dot the I's. And you may be, wiping your eyes full of tears because this is so painful, right? Yes. But the narcissists, see, they wanted to keep people in that cycle. Narcissists don't consider the cost of pulling shenanigans. They're salivating over the rewards, right? Yes. So, when narcissists start to try to make people their pawns, they never look up and realize that maybe one day those same people that they crossed and used for source supply and used as a pawn may be using them as a footstool to level up. How about that one? Narcissists want to use you as a pawn, but they never figured that they may be your footstool. Woo, okay, let me move on to the tools. All right, tool number 1. Practice mindfulness in order to maintain your energy body. This helps to release the heavy energy of narcissistic codependent relationships. Okay, so, some people give mindfulness or practicing mindfulness a bad rap or say, oh, it doesn't work. But what consists of mindfulness? Assertiveness. Okay, practicing personal boundaries. Emotional discipline, which is my favorite. When you're practicing mindfulness, you're practicing personal boundaries. Okay, and what's the 4th thing that consists of mindfulness? Practicing self-preservation. That one gets a bad rap too. Practicing self-preservation doesn't mean that you forget about everybody else. It means that you're balancing, okay, what you need, what you want with other people that you do have healthy relationship with. The other people that you do love and care about, who love and care about you. The positive relationships that you have, okay, is about what? Even give and take, right? So when you're practicing mindfulness, this makes all of those things possible. So when you're releasing the heavy energy of narcissistic codependent relationships, again, it is possible to have positive relationships. Which narcissists love to, sometimes they try to hoover people back in just to dismantle that. I know that sounds harsh, but perhaps some of you have already gone through this, right? Yeah. Some people are hoovered back in only, so the narcissist can dismantle anything good that they have going, from career to money to their partnerships or relationships with other people. Narcissists come in and see what they got going, see that they built something up, they gotten further along. Oh, they just want to just dismantle that. Also, what? They can just sit back and say, see, I knew they weren't anything without me. Narcissists may try to use you as a pawn, never realizing that you might be the one who will use them as a footstool. Rightfully so, by the way. See, that's the difference. They're trying to use people as pawns out of being devious, but sometimes, okay, things work out as fate would have it, as karma comes along, right? The very people that the narcissist crossed, right, pushed buttons, knocked them off their square, had them in the sunken place at one time. Now now the narcissist is the footstool of those who perhaps have gone supernova. I'll talk about that later in another video or in another live. Going supernova, meaning that person, they're not going to give the narcissist any more supply. That's it. Supply has run out. Okay? Now the narcissist functions as that person's footstool. See how the tables have turned, right? But anyway, I digress. Tool number 2, take steps to dismantle the grip of codependency. Well, as I mentioned before, a lot of narcissistic relationships have subtle signs of codependency. Okay, I had this revelation myself, and I'm telling you, it changed some things for me. It changed in the way that I started to do relationships. Okay, because like all of you, okay, everybody on the planet, I don't think any of us have a real good recipe, right, for doing relationships perfectly. No, who does? Life is messy, right? It's a gift, but it has its challenges. So we're all complex. We're all comprised of energy. Yeah, we're complex. Our life does have purpose. However, the grip of codependency, that's a feat. That is a feat in and of itself to dismantle. It really is. It's like when you have narcissistic codependent relationships, it is highly addictive, therefore habitual. What is that? That cycle has to be broken, right? In order for any change to take place. So, when a person takes the steps to dismantle the grip of codependency, they are doing themselves a great service. And guess what? Those that they love and care about too. People that they have relationships with, they're going to benefit. So it is very well worth it to start to dismantle the grip of codependency. There are subtle signs of codependency in every narcissistic relationship. Tool number 3, practice focus intention techniques in order to have clarity on what you intend to manifest in your life at this time. Okay, so, when a person focuses on what they intend to manifest, sometimes plans don't go as planned. Things don't always turn out exactly the way a person wants. But when they are focused, they gain clarity. Okay, when a person gains that clarity, then they will be open to solutions along the way. So they may have to take a different route to get to their destination, for instance, but they'll still reach their destination. So when a person practices focus intention techniques, it is in order for them to clarify and put certain things into perspective, such as how do they tend to do relationships, whereas a narcissist will find appealing and want to move on in, right? They want to come in to get that supply, whether it's family, friends, lover, spouse, co-workers, whoever, right? When a person gains clarity, they start to see these things. And before you know it, they'll realize that they are the catalyst to a much needed change. They challenge themselves to make the choices that will bring about necessary change. Not only in their life, but in other people's lives as well. Tool number 4, remember that forgiveness is a very intimate and personal thing. Don't make it about anyone, okay? Because it isn't about them. It's about you. I had that revelation. I mentioned this before, okay? I had that revelation. Huge, huge revelation. Some people are pressured into forgiving before they can, before they're ready. They're being pressured. Sometimes when the narcissist recruits flying monkeys, this is one of the reasons why, because they want to put the emotional stress and pressure on for that person to what? Behave the way the narcissist wants them to think, feel, and behave. Also, they can get the source supply. So when you realize that you do have choices, when you have that clarity that I was talking about, and you realize that forgiveness is about you, that's very powerful. It's a game changer. You're not making it about the narcissist, because the narcissist, if they have their way, if they realize that you forgiving them will give them a source supply, they're okay with it. Even if you not forgiving them will give them the source supply, guess what? The narcissist will like that too. So, make sure, I'm just going to share with you all what I learned. Make sure that when you contemplate forgiveness, make sure that you realize it is all about you. Don't make it about anybody else. Certain people may ask you, well, what's going on between you, and that person, speaking of the narcissist, they may be, well, what's going on between you two? And they may end up being flying monkeys, or maybe not. Maybe they are sincere individuals. Some people who are sincere and who are good people, right? They can be recruited to perform as a flying monkey for a narcissist. Don't misconstrue that. Don't mistake that. Don't get that twisted. Some people are enablers of a narcissist. And some of those people are good people, right? They really don't know what's going on. Some of them, they may have an inkling, but then they may want to please the narcissist for whatever reason. This does not excuse you're being mistreated. Okay, so, when it comes down to forgiving anyone, just make sure, you realize it's about you. You don't want to be pressured into forgiving someone when perhaps you're not ready. Perhaps you have chosen not to forgive. That's your prerogative. Okay? So, some people, like those who have been recruited as flying monkeys, sometimes they will pressure a person who has been targeted by a narcissist to forgive the narcissist. This is very unfortunate. And not to be philosophical or, getting religious or sounding like I'm being judgmental when I say this, but sometimes religion or being spiritual can play a part in that. It's called, misusing spirituality, misusing religion in order to obtain narcissistic supply. Some of you know about that, right? So sometimes the narcissist will play on that and say, okay, these are your beliefs. These are their beliefs. The flying monkeys may have, particular or specific or certain beliefs that may be religious, may be spiritual, but the belief system sometimes is used as, something against, or sometimes the religion and the spirituality is used for the purpose of the narcissist obtaining supply. I'll put it like that. Okay? So try not to allow yourself to be pressured into forgiving. It's okay to forgive. It's okay if you choose not to. It's okay. It's your prerogative. Remember that forgiveness is a very intimate and personal thing. Don't make it about anyone, because at the end of the day, it really is just about you. Okay? So, I wanted to share this message with you all today because I know a lot of people are going through certain things with the narcissist, right? And I'm happy to say that there are certain things that I have learned and I'm able to share with you all today. There was a point in a time in my life when I wasn't able to speak so candidly about some of my experiences or some of the things that I've learned concerning narcissistic codependent relationships. But I'm so happy to be here today, able to do that. Okay, so I certainly hope everybody has enjoyed this and they have gotten something out of it. And, it's something that somebody said to me the other day that I really, I just, I took it to heart because it was something that I really needed to hear. And I shared that in the slide today when I was talking about how at the end of the day, it really is about you. Sometimes we may take on other people's perspectives. They may be having a bad day and we may take something personally, but the person, we were having that conversation, how sometimes right now, people are seemingly more angry about things. And it certainly may have been due to recent events, events that have been going on over the last couple of years, right? Some people may be on edge and some people may be acting out. But the bottom line is this: at the end of the day, it is about you. How are you doing, right? What are you doing to make sure you have a smile on your face? So we were just having a conversation how sometimes you just gotta You just have to lift yourself up. It may seem hard, but sometimes you just have to lift yourself up. You can't change anyone else, right? It's about you challenging yourself enough to make the change. Okay, be the catalyst to a much needed change. It's okay. All right, so, okay, guys, let's see here. Okay, let me go ahead and get out of my slide presentation. Oh, and you guys let me know if you were able to see the slide or not. I want to welcome you, pretty puppy. Thank you so much for joining me today. All right, let's see here. I want to bring up the, here we go. Say thank you for all that you do and help educate us on the tactics of narcissists and how we can get out of the sunken place. Thank you. Well, you know what? You're welcome too. I'm able to share this today, and like I said, I wasn't always able to do this. I didn't have the confidence at one time to share, but I've been able to do that, and it wasn't easy. But I think a lot of people who go through these types of relationships, they have to regain their confidence. Welcome to the live stream, Inca. Is it Inya? Inya? Okay, thank you so much. All right. So guys, I'm going to go ahead and end the live stream, and I want to thank you again for joining me today, and stay tuned for another live stream. And also, just reminding you that every week there are contents coming out on the Luminousz Ztarr channel, okay? Podcasts, videos, live streams, everything is coming out every week. And again, thank you all so much for joining me today.